This is People of the State of Michigan versus Richard Peterson, docket number 21-47FH. And this is the time set for a plea. Mr. Peterson, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Peterson, you have the right to be represented by an attorney. You are represented by Mr. Kraus. And Mr. Kraus, is this a plea to count one only?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that, Your Honor.
Is this a plea to count one only?
Yes, it is.
And will you waive reading of counts 2 through 6?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Allen, would you read count 1, please?
In the People of the State of Michigan versus Richard John Peterson, file 21-47-FH, State of Michigan, County of Ingham. In the name of the people of the State of Michigan, the prosecuting attorney for this county appears before the court and informs the court that on or about August 25th, 2020, at 6049 Horstmeyer Road, City of Lansing, Ingham County, the defendant did in count 1 commit the offense of aggravated possession of child sexually abusive material, that he did knowingly possess child sexually abusive material involving a prepubescent child, contrary to Michigan law. This has a Sex Offender Registration Act notice that this is a Tier 1 offense under the Sex Offender Registration Act. It is a Tier 2 offense if the defendant has a prior conviction for a Tier 1 offense, and it's a Tier 3 offense if the defendant has a prior conviction for a Tier 2 offense pursuant to Michigan law. This is a felony punishable by up to 10 years and or $50,000 and was committed against the peace and dignity of the state of Michigan.
Mr. Peterson, you're being charged here with aggravated possession of child sexually abusive material. That is a felony punishable by up to 10 years in prison. It will also carry with it all the requirements of the Michigan Sex Offender Registration Act. And if you were on parole at the time of the commission of the offense, which I know you weren't, but I have to say it, it would require a consecutive sentence. Have you had enough time to talk about this charge with your attorney?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge against you?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about what we're doing?
No.
How do you want to plead?
Guilty.
Mr. Peterson, if your plea of guilty is accepted by this court, it means you won't have a trial of any kind, and you'll be giving up the rights that go along with a trial. I actually have a signed advice of rights. It looks like it was docu-signed, and it's dated June 16th. Is that something that you signed?
Yes.
Okay, and you only signed it after going over these rights with your lawyer, correct?
Yes.
So you understand that this form has the rights that go along with a trial, and those are the rights you give up when you plead guilty.
Yes.
And that's what you want to do.
Yes.
Also, Mr. Peterson, if I accept your plea, it means you cannot come back later on and try to say that the plea was the result of some promise or threat that no one told me about today. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
It also means you cannot come back later on and try to say that it really wasn't your own choice to plead guilty today. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Is there a plea agreement, Ms. Allen?
There is, Your Honor. In exchange for the defendant's plea and sentence to count 1, the people agree to dismiss the balance on the felony information, that is counts 2 through 6. There's also a sentence agreement pursuant to People versus Killebrew that the defendant will be sentenced on the B grid in the A2 cell, which is a 12 to 20 minimum range, which is a straddle cell.
And is that a full and complete statement, Mr. Kraus?
It is, Your Honor.
Mr. Peterson, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you agree with it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, there is an agreement about your sentence, and that is that it would be no more than this, what we call a straddle cell, 12 to 20 months, which means that your sentence could be anything up to 12 months in jail, or it could be an MDOC sentence, but the low end would be no more than 20 months. If for some reason I decided not to go along with that, in other words, if I thought you should have more time, I would tell you before I sentenced you, and I'd give you a chance, if you wished, to take back your plea and start over. If you got all that?
Yes.
Okay. Has anyone promised you anything else that has not been said here right now in order to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Has anyone used any threats to get you to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Is this your own choice?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you pleading guilty because you believe you are in fact guilty of this offense in count 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right then, you will have to tell me about it then. On August 25th of last year, what did you do?
I possessed an image that showed the genitalia of a child who was under the age of 12 and had not yet reached puberty. This image displayed the genitalia in an erotic manner.
All right. And is that really what you did in your words, or did your attorney write that for you?
I had some help, yes.
Yeah, I understand to know the elements of the offense, but you agree that you did possess these images, correct?
Yes.
And they were erotic, they were sexually suggestive of a child, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and you possess that in the city of Lansing, Ingham County, correct?
It's Ingham County. We don't live in the city.
Oh, okay, but it is Ingham County.
Yes.
Okay. Has the court complied with MCR 6.302, Ms. Allen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Kraus?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you aware of any promises, threats, or inducements other than those already placed on the record, Ms. Allen?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Kraus?
No, Your Honor.
The court finds the plea is understandingly and voluntarily made without undue influence, threats, or promises of leniency. It is an accurate plea. It's supported by the testimony. The plea is accepted. I have a sentencing date of August 9th at 4:30, if that works for you, Mr. Kraus.
It does, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Peterson, you will then need to be in my courtroom on August 9th at 4:30 for sentencing. And it is very important that you're here then. And also, Mr. Kraus can help you out with this, it's very important that you contact the adult probation department and tell them you need to have an interview set up, because they do an interview with you that they then put in the report that I use for sentencing. So if you would make sure you're here for the sentencing in person, and then also make that appointment for the interview. Do you have any questions?
No, I do not, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. Your bond is continued, and we'll see you on August 9th. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.